a video called Insane Conspiracy Theories That Turned Out True. As y'all see, I have the video loaded. Let me put the volume, and we're good. Now I'm still going to listen. Bet, appreciate that. Oh, I thought you were going to end. Nah, I'm not ending till like 6, so we're good. Well, at least 6 for my time. I don't know where you live, but yeah. Insane Conspiracy Theories That Turned Out True. Let's see what this video is about.
Experiment turned animals into spies. A lie about food created a global crisis. A secret government experiment turned animals into...
Let me turn on subtitles too, because I want to be able to, so y'all can read chat as well, or read the video.
Spies. A lie about food created a global crisis, and powerful men were caught performing strange rituals in the woods. These stories sound like nonsense. Many people didn't believe them, then the truth came out. Today we're diving into insane conspiracy theories that were true all along. We'll begin with the...
I'm gonna be honest, the only conspiracy theories I think that are true right now are pretty much like do ghosts count as conspiracy theories, or like aliens? Those count as conspiracy, right? But that's like all the things I believe. Oh, and the Illuminati. I mean, I kind of believed it when I was like smaller. People said it's true. Hopefully they mention it in this video, because I really want to know. But let's get back to the video.
Strange cases and work our way to the most shocking. Our goal, guys, is 2.5 million subscribers by the end of 2026, and it is crazy, so it would mean the world if you subscribe. I will do my very best to put out the best videos I can for you. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The animal spy conspiracy. During the Cold
Animal spy conspiracy. I think I've heard of this one before. I'm interested.
War, the US and Soviet Union spied on each other. That's no secret, but there's one bizarre conspiracy theory from that period. People claimed the CIA tried to turn animals into spies. It sounded crazy, but declassified documents proved it actually happened. In the early 1960s,
Oh, so there's proof on this, bro. Ooh. Okay. Okay, now we're talking.
60s, being a CIA spy meant risking your life. Anyone caught spying in the Soviet Union could be executed. The CIA wanted to spy without putting agents in danger, so they came up with a strange idea. Stop relying on human agents. That was where cats came in. The CIA realized cats could go anywhere without drawing attention. That made them perfect spies, so the agency launched Project Acoustic Kitty. The goal was simple: turn a cat into a walking listening device. Surgeons would implant a microphone, a radio transmitter, and an antenna into the cat's body. The idea was that the cat would move near a target, the mic would capture the conversation, and the transmitter would send the audio to the CIA.
Yo, what? They used cats with transmitter audio receivers to catch conversations? Yo, is that wild, bro? What the fuck? Like, okay, imagine your cat had a little surgery. They did surgery. He has a little thing in his ear, and all of a sudden he's just now a spy. Yo, that's crazy as fuck, bro. What?
On paper, it sounded smart. In real life, it was chaos. Implanting those devices into a living creature was tricky. It took months to figure out. One report said they made a monstrosity. At that point, it was time to train the cat. But a new problem came up. The cat was hard to control. During training, it kept wandering off and chasing birds. It also kept stopping to look for food. Even so, the agency decided the spy cat was ready. It was time for a real mission. In 1967, the CIA released the spy cat near the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. Two men were sitting on a nearby park bench. Agents wanted the cat to get close enough to record the conversation. They released the cat. It stepped into the street. Then a taxi hit it. The mission was over before it even began. By then, the agent...
Nah. Alright. Hold up. Falcon. You're telling me the first mission they deployed a cat for this, the one with the little audio thing, got ran over? They have 9 lives, bro. What do you mean it just died? They have 9 lives. Shh.
agency already spent about $20 million on the project. That's roughly $170 million today. But they decided to quietly shut it down. One memo said the project was not practical. However, the agency didn't give up on the idea of animal spies. Instead, they tried something even stranger. By the early 1970s, CIA engineers came up with a new plan. If real animals were too hard to control, they would build a machine that looked like one. That idea became the Insectothopter. It was a tiny drone built to look like a dragonfly. It had a tiny engine that powered the wings. A microphone was hidden in the head, and operators could control it remotely.
See, this is more smarter, bro. This is more smarter, using a robot dragonfly to hear people out, not freaking planting hearing devices to cats. That's just cruel. What?
1976, the CIA had a working prototype.
This is the first flight of the insect-sized unmanned aerial vehicle called Insectothopter. Flight tests were impressive.
The plan was for it to fly close to a target and record conversations. Once again, it didn't work well in real life.
Damn, should I go check my cat? Lokes, bro, that's not a bad idea, bro. I would honestly check my cat right now. If I had one, I'm checking the cat, making sure there's no audio devices in case Russia and other countries are spying on us, bro. Because after that, GG's, bro. GG's. But yeah, good idea. Everyone, go check your cats. You never know. You never know.
The drone was extremely light. That meant even a small breeze could push it off course. Agents struggled to keep it steady long enough to record anything useful. Eventually, the project was abandoned. The Acoustic Kitty and Insectothopter projects remained classified for decades. People talked about them, but no one could confirm they were real. Then in the early 2000s, the CIA declassified some documents. That was when the truth finally became public. In 2003, the CIA put an Insectothopter prototype on display in its museum. The company in our next chapter secretly did something to millions of their own customers and didn't tell anyone. The Batterygate conspiracy.
Ooh, okay.
Love Roblox?
Alright, an ad. Awesome. I mean, I guess it's a Roblox ad. I'll watch this ad. It's a pretty good ad. I love Roblox. Hold up, let me unmute.
iPhone users noticed a frustrating pattern. Whenever Apple released a new iPhone, the older models seemed to get slower. Many users believed Apple was doing this on purpose to push them to buy the latest iPhone. People thought this theory was crazy, and if you believed it, you were just paranoid. Then
I mean, I believed it. I'm not gonna lie. I switched from my iPhone to the one I have now because I thought the battery was draining and was faster. So yeah, that's why I have this one now, because my old one would just. I also subbed on YouTube. Yo, let's freaking go. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm uploading like little segments to there too. So you'll probably watch this video on there. But yeah, round of applause. Thank you for the sub. But yeah, that's crazy. Just talking about like things that I kind of relate to, like the phone thing here. I did not know that. Let's see what this I forgot what he said it was. The Batterygate conspiracy. So yeah, Batterygate conspiracy.
Then in 2017, something happened, and suddenly you didn't seem so crazy after all. That year, Apple released a software update called iOS 10.2.1. After users installed it, complaints started pouring in. Users with older iPhones said their batteries were acting strangely. A phone might show a 30% battery, then suddenly drop to 1%. Seconds later, the phone would shut down. People complained all over social media. They were confused, frustrated, and demanded answers. But Apple didn't respond. So one man decided to look into it himself. John Poole was a software developer.
I'll be back, bro. I'm gonna do something. You're good, bro. We'll see you in a bit. If you're back, if not, it's all good, bro. See you in a bit.
He noticed that people were complaining about their iPhones. His wife was one of them.
My wife just offhand mentioned that her iPhone 6S felt slow, and the numbers that we got out of it were significantly lower than what I'd expect from a phone like that.
Poole knew enough about phones to analyze the situation.
It was sort of a eureka moment, and that's what prompted me to really take a deep dive into our database of performance data and see what was happening.
He ran performance tests on older iPhones and compared the results to newer ones. What he found was hard to ignore. Older iPhones running newer versions of iOS had lower performance scores, but it was only happening to phones with older.
Yo, I freaking knew it, dude. I freaking knew it, bro. I'm telling you, I noticed it on my old phone, bro. I had the 14 before the 17, and I'm telling you, bro, you could literally notice all these things, what they're saying right now. I freaking knew it, bro. Holy shit.
batteries. After analyzing everything, he reached one unsettling conclusion. Apple was deliberately slowing down older iPhones. Poole published his findings on his blog on December 2017. Millions read it and they were furious. For the first time, the old joke about Apple slowing phones down didn't feel like a joke anymore. Now Apple had to answer for it. Just 2 days after Poole's blog went viral, Apple released a statement.
Apple confirms it slows down the performance of older iPhones to reduce power demands.
The company admitted it was slowing down older phones, but it said there was a good reason for it. As iPhones get older, so do their batteries. Older batteries can't handle power the way they used to. If an older battery is pushed too hard, the phone might shut down or crash. To prevent that from happening, Apple added software that reduced the processor speed on older models.
But why lie about it, you know, or like keep it hidden? Like, just let your community know that, like, you know, that that's happening, because then you're gonna get backlash like this, bro, and you had to make a whole announcement. Like, I don't know. I feel like they could have prevented this if they just said that earlier. Like, come on, bro.
That explanation didn't calm customers down. The problem wasn't just the slowdown. The problem was that Apple kept it hidden. Soon, lawsuits began piling up.
So far, 2 lawsuits have been filed in Los Angeles and Illinois, claiming those suing never consented to allow Apple to slow their older iPhones.
Apple was sued in the US, Canada, Israel, and several European countries. Attorneys said Apple acted deceptively by hiding the shutdown and slowdown issues. In 2020, Apple agreed to settle the lawsuits. The company reportedly paid about $500 million. Every
Oh, 500 million? Are we dead ass, Apple? You're telling me I would have gotten paid if I joined this lawsuit? Bro, why did no one tell me about this, bro? $500, $500 million. You know what I can do with that? That's like 2 new BMWs, 2 new houses. I could probably buy out this whole apartment complex if I wanted to. Oh my god, that's crazy, bro. And no one let me know. You know what? I'm switching over to Samsung, y'all. No more Apple. No more Apple. Cancel. Boycott Apple.
iPhone user included in the lawsuit received a little less than $100. But as part of the deal, Apple...
Oh, wait. Never mind. Wait.
User included in the lawsuit received a little less than $100.
However, as Mac Rumors reported earlier Saturday, several class members received payments of $92.17. Yeah, never mind. I don't want to be part of that lawsuit, bro. What is $100 gonna help me in the pandemic year, bro? Never mind. We're good off that.
$100. But as part of the deal, Apple did not admit to breaking any laws or any other wrongdoing. Today, Apple's more transparent about battery performance. The company also added a new feature that shows battery health. Up next is the story of a product that millions of people bought without knowing it was a death trap. The Ford Pinto conspiracy. The Ford Pinto is remembered as one of the most dangerous cars ever. Even a small crash could make it burst into flames. Many people and
Yo, how was this allowed on the streets then? I've only seen this car once in my life. And I've never seen it again. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they removed them or something. I don't know. But, yeah.
ended up in the emergency room. The conspiracy theory was that Ford themselves knew the cars were going to explode, but they hid that information and sold it anyway. That was a serious accusation, but the truth was even worse.
Freaking ad again. I need to get YouTube Premium.
In the 60s, the Ford Motor Company was in trouble. Other car companies were selling smaller, cheaper vehicles, and Ford needed something that could compete. So the CEO told engineers to build a car that was cheap, small, and fuel efficient. Those targets were difficult, but not impossible. The real problem was time. Designing a new car normally took 43 months. Ford engineers were given only 25. That deadline forced them to rush the design process. The result was the Ford Pinto. Eventually, it was time for crash testing, which is standard for any new car. Engineers wanted to see what would happen if the Pinto crashed. When the Pinto was hit from behind, the gas tank ruptured. Fuel spilled, sparks flew, and then boom, the Pinto burst into flames. Ford crash tested the car over 40 times. The same problem occurred. When the Pinto was rear-ended, the car caught fire. The problem came from the car's design. Engineers placed the gas tank right behind the rear bumper. Despite the obvious danger, Ford moved ahead with production. Thousands of Pintos were built and sold. It was an instant hit.
When I bought my Pinto, I figured it was a good value, but I didn't know how good until my dad started borrowing it.
So I ended up buying my own.
Then I bought one, and I bought one,
and I bought one.
Millions of...
So you're telling me there was a time in our world where there were just cars that could explode on just subtle impact. How did we let this happen? Dude, our world is so weird. Like, I didn't even know all this, bro. Like, imagine I bought one of these back in the day. Actually, no, I probably wouldn't have existed. Doesn't matter. If I bought them and then I just seen it explode, bro, I'd be so mad. I'd definitely sue the company.
Americans bought one. They had no idea they were getting into a death trap. Not long after the Pinto hit the road, the disasters began. Drivers reported the same terrifying pattern. Another car would hit them from behind. Then the Pinto would burst into flames. It happened again and again. Too often to be a coincidence. Some victims began to ask, did Ford already know this could happen? Ford said there was no problem. The Pinto met all safety standards. Even so, some victims filed lawsuits. Those cases went to trial in the mid-1970s. And the Pinto case became a national story. As the trial got more attention, one reporter decided to dig deeper. He got access to Ford's internal company records. What he found was alarming. The document showed that Ford engineers already knew the car could explode, but that wasn't the...
They knew the whole time, bro. That's even worse, gang. What are y'all doing, bro? That's the easiest lawsuit of all time. If I don't see a lawsuit at the end of this conspiracy theory, it's like, what are y'all doing? I'm expecting a lawsuit, so come on.
Worst part, once the accidents began, Ford had another chance to act. The company thought about recalling every Pinto and fixing the issue, but executives felt it would be too expensive. Recalling and fixing every Pinto would cost $137 million. They estimated that settling victims' lawsuits would cost about $50 million. So the company decided it was cheaper to let people get hurt. In September 1977, the reporter went public with his findings. His article was titled Pinto Madness. TV networks, newspapers picked up the story. Now the conspiracy theory no longer sounded crazy. Ford knew the car was dangerous and sold it anyway. In total, 117 families sued Ford over...
Holy shit. 117? Yo, that's crazy, bro.
The Pinto. The company paid more than $100 million to settle the cases. In June 1978, Ford finally recalled 1.5 million Ford Pintos. Engineers made the necessary changes to prevent explosions.
1.5 million of these cars on the street, bro. That's crazy. I don't know how there was not like a
but the kid is
Yo!
not my son. Woo!
Melry Revolution. Wait, no. Melee Revolution. Yo, appreciate the follow. Yo.
¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking, canking, can. ¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada.
Appreciate the follow.
Con tanta chapa, va a hacer.
W's in the chat. W's in the chat for Melee Revolution. Yo, appreciate the follow. Appreciate that. But, bro, that's crazy though. Like, these were just on the street casually, and they all knew about it. Yo, I don't know if I can trust Ford now after this video, you know?
Explosions. No one knows exactly how many people passed away in Pinto fires. Some estimates put the number in the hundreds. Others say it was much lower. But whatever the true number was, it was far too many. Up next is the story of an industry that quietly rewrote the rules of nutrition, and millions of people paid the price. The Big Sugar Conspiracy. For years, doctors said eating fatty foods caused heart disease, but some scientists believed the wrong food was getting blamed. To them, sugar was the real danger. As they dug deeper, they uncovered a dark conspiracy to bury the truth. It involved bribes, intimidation, and even fake research. In the late 1950s, thousands of Americans were passing away from heart attacks. Doctors and researchers were trying to figure out why. In 1965, a nutritionist suggested that too much sugar might be the reason.
We started to wonder late in the 1950s whether sugar might be a culprit in the increase in heart disease.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
Bro, why is there an ad, bro? That's like 3 ads, bro. It's pissing me off, man. Oh my gosh. Skip.
Sugar industry was alarmed by that theory. Americans were consuming more sugar than ever before. It was in soft drinks, candy, and desserts. If the public blamed sugar for heart disease, the industry could lose billions. To protect their business, they needed to shift the blame, and they knew exactly how to do it. There was a group called the Sugar Research Foundation. It was dedicated to the scientific study of sugar's role in food. On the surface, the group looked neutral and trustworthy, but behind the scenes, it was run by people who made money selling sugar. They wanted people to keep eating sugar even if it was harming their health. So in July 1965, the Sugar Research Foundation contacted a researcher at Harvard University. They asked him to write a study on the cause of heart disease, but there was a catch. The paper needed to downplay the dangers of sugar and shift the blame to fatty foods. The foundation paid the researcher tens of
Wow, so they were hiding the fact that sugar was actually the culprit of this and not fat. Yo, that's crazy, bro. These conspiracy theories are actually like mind-blowing, bro. I did not expect this from this video.
thousands of dollars. Back then, scientists didn't have to reveal who funded their work, so the public never knew about the deal. In 1967, the Harvard researcher published his paper. It said that cutting fat out of your diet was the best way to avoid heart disease. And because the study came from Harvard, people trusted it. Almost no one knew that the sugar industry paid for this study. Sugar executives were thrilled. One of them even wrote to the researcher, "Let me assure you, this is quite what we had in mind." Over time, the idea that fatty foods alone caused heart disease became widely accepted. A few years later, the US government released dietary guidelines. It told Americans to cut back on saturated fat, especially red meat. Many people followed that advice without cutting sugar. Many Americans switched to low-fat products. Food companies advertised low-fat yogurt, snacks, and dessert.
Who would do it right? Hard to believe it's got less fat.
But many of these low-fat foods had extra sugar for flavor, so people ended up consuming even more sugar than before. Over time, the health problems were.
So at that point, it just cancels it out. You're trying to eat healthy, but you're not because you're eating more sugar. Well, yes, gaining more fat, but gaining less fat, but you're just intaking a lot more sugar, bro. I think that's LL situation, bro. Come on.
That confused a lot of doctors. Some scientists questioned the old research on fat and sugar, but there was still no proof that the study was manipulated. It took nearly 50 years for the truth to come out. In 2009, a researcher was studying the history of nutrition science. Her name was Kristen.
50 years. What? How does it take 50 years, bro?
Kearns. While going through Harvard records, she found letters between Harvard researchers and the Sugar Research Foundation.
The first folder that I pulled out opened up to a memo, the blue letterhead of the Sugar Association, and it had the word confidential.
Those letters proved that the sugar industry funded the research and probably influenced the results. In September 2016, Kearns published what she found. It shocked the world.
New this morning, Bay Area researchers are accusing the sugar industry of some unsavory behavior.
Believe me, I've been reading this for the past couple of days, like, oh my God.
What did you think? We shaped our notion of healthy diets for decades on this. Don't ever eat fat, sugar, no problem.
By then, the researchers who wrote the paper were no longer alive, but the Sugar Research Foundation still existed. It now went by a new name, the Sugar Association. When people confronted the group, it denied doing anything wrong. It admitted it funded the research, but insisted it didn't influence the results. Even so, it was too late to undo the damage. For decades.
Yeah, like how you gonna lie straight up after all you get exposed? Like, there's no way you're getting away with that, buddy. GG's, wrap it up. Just take it to heart, and just move on. Just move on.
People ate foods packed with sugar, and many paid the price with their health. That was a lie that lasted 50 years, all because the sugar industry wanted to protect their profits. This next chapter is about a secret military operation so unbelievable, the government denied it ever happened. The weather control conspiracy.
Okay, so be careful how much sugar you guys intake is basically what I got from that conspiracy. I myself don't even drink many sugary or eat many sugary things, so yeah, y'all stay safe out there. I know I'm staying safe. But yeah, next conspiracy theory, the weather control conspiracy. Okay.
Have you ever heard anyone say that the government can control the weather? It sounds like the kind of thing only paranoid people would believe, but that idea didn't come from nowhere. In the 1960s, the United States was fighting in Vietnam.
Y'all think the government can control the weather? I'm curious. I feel like the government hides so many things from us. Controlling the weather could be one of them, but I don't know. That one seems a little out of pocket, no? Because how would you even be able to do that? Unless you have like a wand, you know, that Flash wand. You ever seen the Flash? And then that wand that like controls the air. I don't know. Maybe y'all don't get the reference, but unless that's the only way I can think of.
No, but the war wasn't going well. One major problem was the Vietnamese army's supply network. Their soldiers had secret roads running through the jungle. They used these routes to move food, weapons, and troops. As long as supply routes stayed open, it was much harder for the US to win. The US wanted to shut them down, but there were too many hidden roads to find and block. Then the military noticed something. Whenever heavy rain fell, the roads turned into mud. Trucks got stuck and people struggled to move through it. That made moving supplies much harder for Vietnamese forces. That gave the US an idea. If they could make it rain all the time, the enemy would have a much harder time moving supplies through the jungle. Controlling the weather sounded like science fiction, but the government had a reason to believe it was possible. Years earlier, a chemist named Vincent Schaefer ran some weather experiments. Schaefer flew over New York and dropped 3 pounds of dry ice into a cloud. Within minutes, the cloud began producing snow. He called it cloud seeding, and it proved that humans might be able to influence the weather.
What the fuck? You're telling me I can just go up to the clouds right now with dry ice, drop dry ice, and it starts snowing? What? I feel like that's crazy, no? That in itself is crazy. Like, how are you even able to do that? Oh my god, like there's so much clouds out right now. Like I could just, oh shit. I can just literally fly up, drop dry ice, and then it starts snowing here. Oh my god, I can finally have snow in San Diego. Should I do it, guys? I might do it.
During the Vietnam War, the military decided to try it. It was called Operation Popeye.
The goal of Operation Popeye was to extend the monsoon season and create an inordinate amount of rainfall by seeding clouds.
Air Force planes were loaded with canisters of silver iodide. The planes flew into storm clouds and released them. The silver iodide triggered more rainfall. The extra rain turned roads into mud. Some paths even flooded. Moving supplies became much harder for Vietnamese forces. The mission was a success. For 5 years, the US military kept doing it.
They flew over 2,600 missions from a period of 1966 to 1972.
And they kept the operation top secret. But secrets like that don't stay hidden forever. In March 1971, a reporter of the Washington Post exposed the operation. He revealed how the military was using the weather as a weapon of war. The public was shocked. Lawmakers were angry that they were never informed. The defense secretary was called before Congress to explain himself, but he denied everything. He called the claims wild tales. That denial only made things worse because reporters kept digging. In July 1972, another reporter published a story in the New York Times. It was titled "Rainmaking is Used as Weapon by US." This time the evidence was much stronger. The reporter had spoken with people involved in the operation. Now the story was no longer just a rumor. The defense secretary and military officials were summoned to a secret Senate hearing. They were asked about the project again, and they finally admitted the truth. That raised a disturbing question. If one country could use weather as a weapon, what would happen if other countries did the same? It could destabilize the climate, disrupt food supply, and create other serious problems. World leaders didn't want that to happen. So by 1977,
yeah, that's crazy. Imagine I'm back. Oh, welcome back, Joselito. We are still on the video. Almost done.
World leaders.
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago. But yeah, that's crazy, bro. Imagine we have a war we're just controlling weather. That'd kind of be cool, but kind of like not cool in a way. Like if I could just make it rain, how cool would that be? Or like if I could just make it snow, or like it turn hot. That's pretty cool itself, but like I don't know. I feel like for war that'd be an atrocity.
Signed an agreement banning the use of weather as a weapon. Today, over 70 countries have signed that treaty. As far as we know, no country has weaponized the weather since. However, cloud seeding never stopped. It's still used for farming and weather-related needs. So the weather control conspiracy theory turned out to be true. The leader in our next chapter.
That would be sick. Yeah, exactly, bro. I'm saying like that would be so cool. It'd be like I'm the Flash. No, wait, no, that's not good. There's someone in the Flash who can control weather. I forgot who it is, but yeah, I'd be like that person.
Believed the government was his enemy, so he decided to destroy it from the inside. The Scientology conspiracy.
Ooh, everyone knows about Scientology. Here we go. This conspiracy is probably the one I most anticipated. I really want to learn what the Scientology thing is because I've only seen it on TikTok where people rate it. I have no clue what it is about.
The Church of Scientology has been accused of many things, including being a cult, but one claim stood out from the rest. People said the church was doing illegal things to silence its enemies and manipulate the government. So,
what? Weather Wizard? Yeah, straight up, that'd be a tough name. No, I'm not gonna lie. Weather Wizard. Wait, let me replay that. A cult, but one claim stood out from the rest.
Said the church was doing illegal things to silence its enemies and manipulate the government.
Oh, yo.
So were these conspiracy theories true? But to understand why millions of people believe this church is dangerous, we have to go back to where it all started. The Church of Scientology began in 1953. It was founded by a science fiction writer named L. Ron Hubbard. It said Scientology was a religion that could help people unlock their full potential.
Read Scientology, The Fundamentals of Thought by L. Ron Hubbard. Your search is over, but the adventure's just begun.
Nah, that is the name of the person from the Flash. Oh, Weather Wizard. I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest. It's been like a few years since I watched The Flash. I stopped watching after like season 5, bro. The show died. But Weather Wizard does sound a little familiar. I'm not gonna lie. I think I know which one.
That message attracted thousands of followers, but as Scientology grew, so did the controversy around it. Former members accused the church of extortion and harassment. By the mid-1960s, the complaints were too many to ignore. The US government started investigating Scientology's internal practices, and what they found was troubling. Large amounts of church money were going straight to the founder, Hubbard. He was running it less like a religion and more like a business. So the government revoked
Bro, this guy used your guys' money that you guys donated to his church for himself. There you go. That's why you don't support Scientology, you guys. That's why you don't support it.
Scientology's tax-exempt status. Other countries went even further.
The state of Victoria in Australia has passed a law making it a criminal offence for anyone to demand or receive payment for the pseudo-medical practice of Scientology.
Hubbard was furious. He believed the government was targeting him unfairly. He gave interviews defending Scientology.
Why do they just fight it and say there's something bad, but they never specify what's bad? They haven't specified. For instance, right now they say we're breaking up marriages. All right, that's a lie.
But instead of fighting back in court, Hubbard came up with a much darker plan. He would attack the government from within.
That's life in prison? No, for real. It really is, bro. Like, that's like, what are you doing? Straight up.
1973, Hubbard launched Operation Snow White. The mission was simple. Scientology wanted to infiltrate government offices and erase every damaging file about the church. To do that, Hubbard created a network of spies. They made Scientology members apply for jobs in government agencies. They targeted places like the IRS and the Department of Justice. Once they got hired, the spies searched for files on Scientology.
What the fuck? So you're telling me they had inside people working in the government to just erase their name, their bad reputation from like all society? I hope they didn't get away with that because Scientology is still up, by the way. I think there's one in LA. That's the one I only know. I don't know if there's any more, but yeah. Yo, that's crazy as shit. I did not know that.
and they stole those files or destroyed them. Sometimes they swapped real records with fake ones that made the church look harmless. The operation was led by Hubbard's wife, Mary Sue. She trained Scientologists to become spies. They learned how to forge IDs and manipulate people. For 5 years, the plan worked. Scientology infiltrated 100
Oh nah, this plan worked? Bro, how? Yo, our government's supposed to be the most secret place in the world, bro. And it worked? Come on, gang.
36 government agencies in 30 countries. But the church was not just stealing files. They were also going after anyone who criticized them. Hubbard kept a list of the church's enemies. Paulette Cooper was at the top of that list. In 1972, she published a book titled The Scandal of Scientology. It was one of the first books to openly criticize the church. Scientology church leaders hated her for it, so they decided to ruin her life.
Is that the new building people sneak in? Yeah, it's that one. It's literally the one that people run into in like TikTok and stuff. It's that building. They always close the doors for like outsiders because they're hiding stuff, is what people are saying. And now I'm really believing it. Really believing it.
Sued me 19 times all over the world, put me through 50 days of depositions. They sent a lot of horrible anonymous smear letters about me.
Then they decided to frame her for a crime.
They stole my stationery. They got my fingerprint on a piece of paper. And then they sent bomb threats to themselves.
Scientologists got a paper with Paulette's fingerprints. Then they used that paper to send device threats to their own church. After that, they reported the threats to the FBI themselves. To investigators, it looked like she was guilty. Paulette was arrested and charged. If convicted, she...
Oh my god, Scientology actually... Bro, that's crazy, bro. Scientology actually made her look like she was guilty? What the fuck? They actually got away with that, bro. Yo, they're crazy, dude. I'm never trusting Scientology, bro. Never.
Could spend years behind bars. The Scientologists were celebrating. However, their entire operation was about to fall apart. In May 1976, 2 Scientology spies broke into a courthouse in Washington, D.C. They were trying to steal more documents, but the plan failed. A security guard caught them using forged IDs. Federal agents traced those...
W's in the Let's freaking go, bro. They caught him? Let's freaking go, dude.
Fake IDs back to Scientology. So in July 1977, FBI agents raided Scientology offices. They seized about 100,000 stolen government documents. They also uncovered files.
100,000 stolen documents from the government. Holy shit.
That exposed Operation Snow White. Those files showed that Scientology framed Paulette Cooper too.
They found something that said along the line of conspired to frame Miss Lovely, which was the code name that Hubbard gave to me.
11 high-ranking Scientology officials were convicted. Among them was Mary Sue, the wife of L. Ron Hubbard. She was sentenced to 5 years behind bars. But one key figure avoided charges, L. Ron Hubbard himself. Investigators believed he directed the operation, but they could never prove it in court. After the convictions, Hubbard disappeared from public life. He spent the rest of his life paranoid and in hiding. Scientology still exists today, and it is still powerful. Its members include celebrities, lawmakers, and wealthy CEOs. Who knows how much more powerful it could have been?
Yeah, bro. Everyone says that Scientology is like a crazy hidden networking for like people with high status. So like governors, I guess some streamers too are part of it. Some music artists. That, like basically they're tied to that. 100K, damn. That's what I'm saying, bro. 100K of stolen government artifacts. It's insane. What's the vid name of my mom trying to watch it? It is called Insane Conspiracy Theories That Turned Out True. I don't know whose channel this is. Visual Venture is the channel name.
Become if its spies stayed inside the government. This next chapter is about a secret club that most powerful people in the world don't want you to...
Okay, I think I know what's next. I know what's next.
To know about. The Secret Society Conspiracy.
Oh, actually, I didn't know. I don't know about this one. The Secret Society
Makers and wealthy CEOs. Who knows how much more powerful it could have become if its spies stayed inside the government. This next chapter is about a secret club that most powerful people in the world don't want you to know about. The Secret Society Conspiracy. You've probably heard the theory that a secret group of rich and powerful men control the world, that they meet in private to decide wars, pick presidents, and shape major events. Most people brushed off this conspiracy.
What the fuck? You tell me this is true? Bro, GG's. If this is true, our world is a lie then. Our world is a literal lie if this is true.
Theory is nonsense, but it turns out there's some truth to it. There's a forest in Northern California where powerful men really do meet in secret. Those men are members of the Bohemian Club. The club was formed in 1872 in San Francisco. At first, it was just a few dozen men talking about art, but over time, the club began to change. Businessmen, lawyers, and politicians joined. Within a few decades, the Bohemian Club was no longer mainly about creativity. It was about power. In the 1890s, the club built a private camp deep in the California redwoods. They called it Bohemian Grove. Every summer, members traveled there for a 2-week retreat. As the years passed, the guest list became more impressive. Multiple US presidents attended, but as the Grove got more powerful, it also became more exclusive and secretive.
You don't ask to join, they ask you. The whole thing is about excluding certain people, and other people get to go to this fancy retreat.
No one was allowed to take photographs. Journalists were banned from entering. Members followed one strict rule. What happened at Bohemian Grove stayed at Bohemian Grove. Naturally, this made people suspicious. What
happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. That same sequence applies here, I guess. Bohemian Grove. Whatever happens in Bohemian Grove stays in Bohemian Grove. So that's so dumb.
These powerful men doing in secret. For decades, no one on the outside really knew. Then one journalist managed to get in. In July 1989, a journalist named Philip Weiss got inside Bohemian Grove. He planned to sneak in, but when he got there, security was much lighter than he expected, so he pretended to be a guest and stayed for 7 days. Weiss saw celebrities, politicians, and business executives. He heard discussions about major issues. It all seemed impressive. But on the first night, things went from impressive to bizarre. After dark, men in dark robes walked in a slow procession. They carried a coffin. Then they placed it in front of the statue of an owl. The statue was 40 feet tall. Then they set the coffin on fire. The ceremony was called the cremation of care. Inside the coffin was a figure meant to represent the worries of everyday life. Burning it symbolized letting those worries go. When he got back to New York, Weiss wrote about what he saw. His article was published in Spy magazine, and it caused a sensation. For the first time, the public got a glimpse inside Bohemian Grove. The idea that world leaders were performing rituals in the woods sounded unbelievable, but it was happening. Bohemian Grove.
Oh my god, this is true. Oh my god. Bro, no. Oh my gosh. GG's.
Still operates today. Every summer, members gather in the forest. Cameras are still banned. Journalists aren't allowed to enter. And the same rule still applies. What happens at Bohemian Grove stays at Bohemian Grove. So was the conspiracy theory true? What we know for sure is that they really do meet at Bohemian Grove. What they discuss, however, remains a mystery. Are they deciding the fate of the world or just spending time with friends? Governments, corporations, powerful organizations, they all made the same bet that the story reaching you would be the one they wanted you to hear. My friends, the most dangerous thing you can do is trust without question. Visual Venture. Speaking of dangerous organizations, I have...
Holy shit. Oh my gosh, bro. This video has opened my mind in so many ways. Like, what? So our world is basically dictated by random people with authority power who can decide when wars start. And it's still going on. It's actually going on right now. It's better be this. It's literally in the summer. They said the summer. It's summer right now. Damn, this video is insane. Yeah, one of the craziest videos I've seen in my life. What do you guys think was the most craziest conspiracy theory out of this one? Because honestly, I think the social club one, the social society club or whatever, that's probably the craziest one to me. Like, bro, what? Like, that's crazy, dude. Like, to think to think all these like conspiracy theories are actually true, Actually, the Ford one is crazy, dude. Hold up. I actually want to see this. I think it was called "You Trying to Stream Longer." Well, I'm trying to like, yeah, in a sense, I'm gonna go to like, what time is it? 5:18 to like 6, so a couple minutes left on the stream. So yeah, a little bit longer. But let me check out this Ford one. I think it was called Ford Pinto. That one really surprised me to start off. Let's look at it. So the Ford Pinto. Oh, it's 6 for me. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. It's probably for me it's 5:18 right now, so I think we live in different time zones. But yeah, I'll probably go on till 7 for you. 7. But yeah, the Ford Pinto. Let's see if there's any for sale. Oh my god, they do have some for sale. Or no, they don't. I don't think they do. Oh, there's one here. Yo, no. Why are these on sale? I mean, they did do a recall on them, so I'm pretty sure they're not exploding anymore. Let me see. Buy it? Should I buy it? You know what? If I have enough money in the future, we might take a look into this Ford Pinto, and we're gonna test if it, actually explodes. But that's in the way future. Right now, I don't have the funds for that at all. But you know what? If people watching this right now, if y'all remember this, I'm gonna do a crash test on the Ford Pinto from this conspiracy theory video we watched. Crash test. Yes, I'm gonna do that exactly. So, yeah. But let's see if I can Ford Pinto. What was I gonna search up? Ford Pinto. Oh, explosion. Do Ford Pintos to explode? Do Ford Pintos still explode? Fernando, I was watching TikTok right now, and the Loan Shark is also in VR. Yeah, Loan Shark is also in VR, but I don't have a VR headset, so. Ford. Okay, here we go. Search up Ford Pintos exploding. Oh, you know what? That is a better idea. I don't know how to spell exploding. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's just do this on YouTube. Ford Pinto. Okay, let's see. This first one, no. Yeah, okay.